So on this solve question, we're going to have to do a little bit more work. On this question, we are going to have to factor before we go find LCDs. So on my first fraction, the factors of 42, that get me 13, are going to be an x minus 6 and an x minus 7. And to double check, those multiply together get me 42, and those add together give me negative 13. My middle one, I have a greatest common factor of 3, so I'm going to pull out a 3, and I have x minus 6 here. And then I have an x minus 7. So the denominators that I'm going to use are going to be these. And I'm going to rewrite the problem so I have a little bit more room to work and everything else with my new denominators before I find my LCD. So I have negative 2 divided by x minus 6 and x minus 7 equals x over 3 times x minus 6 minus 3 over x minus 7. And to find my LCD, I'm going to take everything that I see, and I'm going to write down what is in the first denominator and then combine everything as I go through. So the first denominator, I have x minus 6 and x minus 7, which was covered in my blue fraction factoring. Okay. In my next denominator, I do already have the x minus 6 accounted for, but I do need to add that 3. So that comes from the red fraction, or the red denominator over here. And then in my last one, I have x minus 7. So based on my fractions denominators over here, everything's accounted for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by that on every single fraction. So I'm going to take x minus 6 times x minus 7 times 3, x minus 6 times x minus 7 times 3, and x minus 6 and x minus 7 times 3. And I'm going to cancel out what is going to cancel out. So x minus 6 cancels with x minus 6. 3 and x minus 6 will cancel with those guys. And x minus 7 is going to cancel with those. So with that, I'm going to rewrite my problem with the multiplication. So I have negative 2 times 3 equals x times x minus 7 minus, and then this is all multiplication, so I'm going to go 3 times x minus 6 times 3, just to make sure I cover everything. And you got to subtract everything that comes after, so you could distribute the negative 3 first. So if you didn't like that way, what you could do is you could say, instead, you want to go negative 3 times all of that too. It doesn't matter. Same way, just as long as you follow that negative. With that, you have minus 6 equals x squared minus 7x. I'm going to leave that 3 here, and I'm going to do the first multiplication. 3x minus 18 minus 6 equals x squared minus 7x minus 9x plus 54. I'm going to add 6 to the other side, and then combine all my like terms. So I have x squared minus 16x plus 60. And before I go any further, I know I forgot to do it on question number 4, but I want to talk about what numbers x cannot be. X cannot equal positive 6, because if I plug that into here, I'd get 0, and x cannot equal positive 7. If I get either of those answers, they're extraneous solutions, which means I would divide by 0. So to factor this, I'm going to have 0 equals, the factors of 60 that get me negative 6 are going to be x minus 6 and x minus 10. If I solve both of those, I'm going to get x equals 6 and 10. If you plugged in x equals 6 to check it on any of the denominators, and I'm just going to pick the middle one because that has a 3 minus x. What that means is checking in this fraction here, I would have 6 over 3 times 6 minus 18, which would get you 6 over 0, which is impossible. So that's why that extraneous solution needs to be checked. So based on the values that x cannot be, since x cannot equal 6, my only solution is x equals 10. Now, 10 does work. If you plug it into the original problem, it's a lot easier. Just make sure you pay attention to your parentheses.